What's going on, Bucs fans? Happy Victory Monday once again, and welcome back to the Buccaneers post-game discussion for Week 4 here on the Cannon Fire Podcast. I am your host, Redicus, joined as always by my co-host and good buddy, Evan. Evan, how are you doing on this Victory Monday, my man?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
I am doing A-okay. I'm feeling good that it's a Victory Monday. It was a stressful Sunday before the Victory Monday, but a win's a win. Let's talk about it, man. The Buccaneers at home took out the 0-3 New York Football Giants to make them 0-4. 25-23 was the final score, and Nick Folk was able to nail the field goal to win the game in the last 4 seconds. So let's talk about this, man. Let's break the game down. We're feeling good. It's Monday, heading into a Thursday night game against the New England Patriots, trying to keep momentum up. But before we jump into that, we'll talk about that when we record the episode a couple days from now. But let's talk about this game, my man. That's what we're here to talk about is Week 4 against the Giants. How are you feeling on it?
Very sloppy. Especially at the beginning because the conditions. If fans didn't watch the beginning of the game or just didn't watch the game at all, the conditions in the beginning of the game were not good. Like probably about 5 minutes before kickoff, it started to downpour.
Big fat rain too.
When they were on field for warm-ups, it was sunny. As soon as kickoff was about to happen, it started to pour, and you could tell. I believe the Giants ran the ball. They got the ball first. They ran the ball twice, and then threw a screen pass, so that's safe. And I think the Bucs ran the ball 3 straight times when they got the ball. Both teams ended up going 3 and out, but it was important for the Bucs to get off to that hot start. We talk about those a lot. It's important for them because a lot of times they had trouble catching their stride. I guess that's what you could say, and that really hurt them. And it was very good to see them being able to drive down the field against what I think is a pretty solid Giants defense. It's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. The Bears defense is much worse, and it's not. The Vikings defense is better, but I don't think it's by much. I still think the Giants have a solid defense.
And Landon Collins was actually a really big part of that defense Sunday. He came up pretty big from his defensive back position.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. There was a couple guys that played pretty good for the Giants, but and then Mike Evans one-on-one in the red zone against Eli Apple. What's gonna happen? 90% of the time, it's gonna be a touchdown. As long as Winston can put the ball on the money, which he did that time, easy touchdown for the Bucs. And then the Bucs were able to stop him. And then, because Eli got off to a slow start, and then finally the big play happened. The Buccaneers did not have a play. A little fun fact: they did not have a play longer than 50 yards, 50-plus yards. They did not have one play last year that was longer than 50 yards. And here was the rookie O.J. Howard's time to catch a 58-yard touchdown from Jameis Winston. Great play.
What a first career touchdown also.
What's up?
What a first career touchdown also for O.J. Howard. Great play.
Oh, yeah. It reminded me a lot of what Alabama did in the national championship game both times. Spread out the offense, roll out the quarterback, and O.J. Howard's wide open. That happened in both national championship games, including the last one, which was in Raymond James Stadium. So it was very nice to see O.J. finally get his first, and then Nick Folk missed the field goal. He missed the extra point, made his first one, missed the second one. I didn't really mind that. Extra points do hurt, but like I told you after he made all of his kicks against the Bears, but then missed the extra point against the Bears. I'll take a missed extra point if he makes the rest of them. Well, this time he didn't make the rest of them, but I'll get into that a bit later. And then the Buccaneers started to show old signs. Giants started to creep back in, inch by inch. They started to get some momentum. Eli Manning ran for a touchdown. It seems like that's kind of stuff only happens against the Bucs. Like I
What was it? His first. It was like his first rushing touchdown in 4 or 5 years, or some crazy number like that.
Yeah, and honestly, like Tom Brady will probably freaking run for a touchdown. I don't know if he's done that 2 times in his career. But they scored a touchdown. The Bucs stall a bit on offense, and then this happens, and Jameis Winston avoids a rush, hits Mike Evans. They call it a touchdown, but it's clear that Evans is down at the 1 yard line. So now the Bucs have the 1 yard line. Now let me tell you something, Rhett, or let me ask you something. I should say, if you're at the 1 yard line, you only need one more yard. Would you try to go sideways?
No, no,
Yeah,
jam it right up the gut.
Yeah, Dirk Cutter didn't seem to think so. The first play was a toss play to Jaquiz Rogers, which lost 2 yards. Then I even forget what the second play is. I knew the third play was the pass incomplete to Cameron Brate. But horrible play calling on that. That should have been 7 points right there. Right before halftime, that would have been a huge momentum swing. And honestly, I mean, the Buccaneers, yes, they won, but they shouldn't have put themselves in that position to kick the game-winning field goal. It shouldn't have been. That should have been a 10-plus point win for the Bucs.
It should have been a comfortable game coming out of the first half.
Yeah, it should have been about 27-17 Bucs. And I mean, even you got to think, because the Giants scored the touchdown, their first touchdown with Eli after Nick Folk missed the field goal. So you got to think, if he makes that field goal, they don't get that good field position. Who knows what happens on the next drive? So they may not even have that touchdown. So it could have been probably 24-3 at halftime. And it just wasn't. And that's something that they got to get cleaned up. But Dirk Cutter needs to. I thought he should have brought in somebody to do play calling. I thought they should have gotten rid of Todd Monken in the offseason, brought in a real offensive coordinator. Because Todd Monken's there, but he's not really doing as much as a regular offensive coordinator does. I thought Dirk Cutter should have given up play calling duties and just focus on game management, focus on his players, focus on substitutions, that type of stuff. But other than that, Dirk was okay with the play calls. I didn't really have much wrong with it besides that drive. That was hard. Giants come back. Giants scored a touchdown. Giants up 17-16. Now, in the past, which is, I'm talking 2015, 2014, 2013.
Let's not talk about 2014, 2013. Let's just not bring those up here.
Well, it's an example here, so I promise this will be the last time I bring it up. But unless the Bucs somehow, turn this season into a dismal season.
We're 2-1 right now. Positive, baby.
If this is 2013, the Bucs are likely done, and the Giants likely win. Giants had the 1-point lead. Now, it did help that the Giants missed that field goal, the 46-yarder, which seemed to, it was big with how the ending, with how that turned out, pretty big. But I mean, 17-16, Bucs come back. Big play to Adam Humphries. Adam Humphries had a real nice day. Then a touchdown to Cameron Brate. I thought Cameron Brate was the best offensive player the Bucs had. I thought James Winston was probably second.
A lot of really big plays by Cam Brate.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And I remember on that 35-yard catch, not the one at the end, but the one who was like midway through the second quarter, he caught it, and he just bullied Landon Collins. He put him right to the ground. I'm not sure if you saw that or not. If you didn't, or if any fan are watching it, then it's on the highlight. It's on the game highlights thing that the NFL puts out. It's Cam Brate's. It was a short. It was like a medium pass, like an intermediate route, and Brate catches it, and just runs into Landon Collins and just pushes him straight to the ground.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. That made me get up off the couch. which I do. I pretty much do all the time. But hey, um, then he had the touchdown. Okay, tried to go for two, didn't get it, and it should have been because Deshaun Jackson was open. Jameis should have hit him. If Jameis hits Deshaun Jackson a couple times, Jameis has got to get used to Deshaun's speed. That's very clear that no other Bucs receiver has Deshaun Jackson's speed, and that's something that James has to get used to, and I think they will. They'll work with each other, and by probably week 7, week 8, that chemistry will probably be there fully. But I mean, Deshaun Jackson made 2 pretty good catches on balls that were thrown behind him. That was all he had, and he should have had 1 catch that was thrown behind him, and even Rondé Barber, I believe, said there was the corner there, but he had beaten the corner. And Landon Collins was there. Rondé said if Jameis puts the ball out in front, Deshaun Jackson would make Landon Collins miss, and Deshaun Jackson's gone. It would have been about like a 53-yard play touchdown or something. Jameis needs to get better at that. Not Deshaun Jackson's fault at all. And honestly, he's frustrated. He has every right to be frustrated, just like Cutter said. It's not Jackson's fault. It's not, it's Cutter's fault for not designing more plays. I mean, where are the end arounds? Where are the screens to Deshaun Jackson? You're throwing all these screens to Adam Humphries. Adam Humphries ain't got nothing speed-wise on Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, Adam Humphries isn't going to give you that extra boost around the edge to get past the blockers and make a huge play in the end arounds too. We had talked about those beginning of the seasons. That was one of the biggest plays people were so excited for, is because it's almost like that's a specialty for Deshaun Jackson, him being one of the fastest guys in the NFL, was that end around, and we really haven't seen any of that, at least with him involved.
Yeah, and I mean, really, period, you haven't seen it. I believe you've seen it once or twice this season, but Adam Humphries on a screen is probably going to get you max 8 yards, which is a good 8 yards. I'm not gonna sit here and say that Adam Humphries. I mean, Adam Humphries is so valuable to this team, and he's so good. His hands are so consistent, but he's not gonna get 25 yards unless there's great blocking down the field or he breaks a tackle. He's not gonna score a touchdown when they're at the 50-yard line and you do that. There's no threat there. And Adam Humphries on a straight go route versus a corner like Eli Apple. Eli Apple's not scared of getting beat deep because he knows Humphries ain't going to be able to outrun him. He knows that Jackson will be able to get past him. And that's why, Jackson is going to be frustrated. Hopefully against the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL, the Patriots defense. Hopefully Deshaun Jackson can get a few catches. Honestly, I hate to be negative, but this is the type of and I say this because of how they performed against the Saints in past years. Typically, no matter what offense the Bucs have, they typically don't perform well against defenses that are bad. The Saints' defenses, I mean, I know it's a division, but pretty much controlled them. Haven't really given them, like, the Bucs have never put up over 30 on the Saints in probably 3 years or so. The Saints defense has the Bucs figured out, and it's been like that for a while. And I say, I hate to say it, I don't think it's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but the offense might, if fans are expecting the offense, well, the Patriots defense is so bad, the offense will score 30 plus easily. I don't know. Just because like I said, I'll use this word until I see it fully developed. I believe I use this word on just about every show we've done. Chemistry isn't there right now, and until it is there, they won't be scoring over 30 consistently. And until the chemistry's there, no matter what defense they face. They should have had 30 this game. If Nick Folk makes all of his kicks, they get close to 30. If they score a touchdown there on the goal line, they are over 30. And that's no pick sixes, which we'll talk about later, the takeaways and stuff. But no pick sixes, no no strip sack touchdowns, nothing like that. No punt return. It would be all offense. Now back to the actual game, where we got really sidetracked there. Okay, so then the Bucs are up, failed 2-point conversion. And now you're thinking, okay, well, if the defense can get one turnover or one sack, something can happen here. It doesn't happen. And I'm going to bring it up one more time. If this is past years, the game's over. Giants scored a touchdown with 3 minutes left. The Bucs would get on offense, have a chance, but something would happen and it would be done. And honestly, I ain't gonna lie. If they said this on the Pewter Nation podcast, Pewter Reports podcast, I listened to it. They recorded a show last night and put up this morning. Mark Cook or Scott Reynolds, one of them, said, that was a 34-yard kick. If that's a 35-yard kick, if that is one more yard that Folk has to kick, the kick bounces off the uprights and it's no good.
It was a scary situation. I was on the couch. I had just eaten. We had made homemade Philly cheesesteaks. Oh, it was so good.
There you go.
It was so good. I love going to my girlfriend's house. They're from Pittsburgh. They make the best food because her mom like doesn't believe. Well, I don't want to say she doesn't believe, but she just doesn't eat out that all often. So, it's so good. We had those. I had mine loaded up with mayo, mustard, onions, and I threw some lettuce on it, which is actually a nice touch. But anyways, I just downed one of those. I had a bottle of water in my hand, and I'm sitting up and watching the game on the couch. I'm like, all right, I'm ready for it. I had to hold my breath for 30 seconds. It was a scary kick. It was good, but three-quarters of the way up into the uprights, I was thinking to myself, oh, this is it. We lose. Because it was, like you said, 1 yard longer, that kick would have been no good as it bounced off the left upright there.
Yeah, I was sitting there pre-kick. I watched the kick fully. If I was sitting there pre-kick, I just put my shirt over my head like this. I didn't know what to do. Because really, the game was so close. And the Bucs needed to win that so bad. But back to the actual review. Bucs get it, less than 3 minutes. Giants fail 2-point conversion after a controversial call. It's the Bucs. There's going to be controversy. They're never going to cleanly win.
Eke it out, but a win's a win.
Yeah, hey, it's still going to put down the history books as a W, so I'm not worried about it. Giants fans can complain Odell was pushed out all they want. He wasn't. I'm going to keep doing I'm going to do air quotes every time. He wasn't pushed out by Justin Evans. He ran out of bounds, and he didn't establish himself back in. That's an illegal touch. Bucs get the ball. A few key plays to Mike Evans. Then there was the big play, and it was to Cameron Brate that got him into field goal range, got him down to about the man, you got the yawns out before, and then there you go.
It's contagious, man. It is contagious. It's something in the air. Maybe it's Monday. Maybe I'm still worn out from yesterday, but it's really getting to me today.
Yeah. Well, and then Cameron Brate to about the 13-yard line or so. Great throw by Winston, better catch by Brate, and Cutter said, this is so gutsy. Cutter's got a pretty big set on him for doing this. That wasn't a play call.
Yeah.
That's something that Jameis and Cam worked on in practice. That was improvised. That wasn't, I couldn't believe when I heard that they didn't, Winston and Brate went to Cutter before that. The third and 1, if you don't get it, it's 4th and 1. The game possibly on the line there. And he okays a play that they've been working on in practice after practice. Oh, man, that took guts. If I was a head coach, I would have said, no way. I said, you know what? No, we got 2 timeouts. We're going to run the ball, and we're going to get that 1 yard to get the first down. I wouldn't have. Ja'Quinn Rodgers also had success, a lot of success today. He also had a lot of success yesterday. But Cam Bright made the catch. I didn't agree with the end. I thought they should have gone for the touchdown or at least got it closer just because, Nick Folk, the day he was having, I believe, he said it. He said it best. I sort of chuckled a little bit. He said, "Hey, it was just it just wasn't the best day in the office." Hey, it happens. He's not gonna make them all. I said it. Come on. The only good thing is, I think if that's Roberto Aguayo probably misses it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was going to bring that up earlier as we jumped into it. Looking in alternate reality where he was, a useful component of my fantasy team. Roberto Aguayo still on the roster. He was a starter. Would we have won this game? Is a question that I've been seeing all over the place, and you pretty much answered it for me. No, it was really, if Roberto Aguayo had been having the day, or at least somewhat close of a day that Nick Folk had been having, he was a guy where it was very hard for him to bounce back after one or two or even a handful of missed field goals. It was hard for him to rally up and make a big play when it did come down to it. And jumping over into the live chat, Bucks Guy said, "Happy Victory Monday." Happy Victory Monday, my man. We are celebrating. We are critiquing, but we are celebrating here. And then we'll jump into these other topics in just one moment. Bucks Guy also said, to his defense, it did rain and the field was sloppy. On the first kick he missed, I told myself, all right, that's okay. It's raining. It's still a little wet on the field. That's all right. But the sun had been out. Well, the rain had stopped for long enough on his next few kicks to where he really was in a position to set himself up a little bit better. It wasn't as nasty as it was during his first kick. But I will agree with you there. On the first kick, yeah, it was a little sloppy, but the rain had just stopped, if not, hadn't stopped yet. But an overall good day in Tampa. Let's jump into the live chat if you want. We'll talk over some of these. Points here.
Okay.
We got Zach Gazella said, "Do you think they should get OJ the ball more?" I think OJ is doing A-okay with everything that he has been tasked with so far. He's shown himself to be a pretty solid blocking tight end. He's come up and made plays when he has to. He's a pretty reliable guy, especially if you get him throwing off of the flat, especially if you get him on an in route or an out underneath route, maybe underneath the slot who comes over. However they have him lined up, he seems to be pretty solid all around. To incorporate him into the game a little more might put more pressure on him. And I'm not saying that he couldn't handle it because he's proved himself to be a solid player, but I think he's exactly where he needs to be right now. I don't think any more or any less is really going to affect him here, or at least help us in any way. I think he's doing just fine. Evan, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I agree. And they don't need to get him the ball more. They don't need to force him the ball because they have Cameron Brate. If they didn't have Cameron Brate, it'd be a different story. O.J. Howard would be the number one tight end. He'd be out there 90% of the time. Now, from the film I've seen, O.J. has done a tremendous job of blocking. On the long Jaquiz Rogers run yesterday, he blocked Jason Pierre-Paul the whole way. Didn't let him go. It was a great block. And
yeah, but I mean, that guy's only coming at him with what, 7 fingers?
Man, you're going to hell.
It's such a bad joke, but the timing was there. All right. I mean, JPP. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't follow that up. All right, let's keep going. O.J. Howard, a really good day blocking yesterday.
Yeah, well, and, he also had a decent day receiving. I don't know, how that counts. But also, also later on in the day, he did have a drop. On a ball that he should have caught. Landon Collins did give him a pretty good licking. On that one, he hit him. OJ wasn't expecting him to be there. He hit him. He hit him with his shoulder. He hit him in the back. Ball popped out. Other than that, I think OJ's doing fine. You will see each and every week now. OJ got more involved this week. Each and every week, he's going to get more involved.
All right, so good words from Evan. Basically summed it up, guys. OJ, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's making his way into this scheme slowly but surely. But a really, really good start for the rookie. Don't expect any more, but don't expect any less of OJ Howard throughout the season. Now, talking about the blocking, we'll jump over to another thing Bucs guy had said. He said Ali Marpet looked a lot better. Ali Marpet has really had a solid season so far. A couple of miscommunicated blocks that I have seen, but nearly nowhere as much as someone like J.R. Sweezy. Sweezy has definitely had a few big missed blocks a game, miscommunication, maybe misassigning the play. But that's something that's going to also come. Ali Marpet, and I believe we had talked about it before, DeMar Dotson came out. He's been really solid too so far this every single year. We made jokes about it 2-3 years ago. One of the worst in the league for Josh McCown, and slowly but surely building a not too bad reputation here in the Bay. Pretty good blocking by Ali Marpet, though, talking about this Sunday.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like from Ali was didn't seem like he could snap the ball to save his life.
Yeah, there were, especially against Minnesota, too, there were a couple of bad snaps that Jameis had to mishandle.
Yeah, in Minnesota I counted 2. In this game I counted about 5. And there can't be 5 bad snaps. One on one of the final plays that Cameron Brate, it was a low snap. Winston had to go. Winston should play a receiver. He's got great hands. He caught every.
He's got his head on a swivel at all times.
Yeah, well, I mean, although he did drop one, but that was a low snap. Marpet's got to be better than that. He did a fine job blocking. Donovan Smith also had a very solid game. Offensive line I thought played really well. I think Sweezy has played very well. For the circumstances, him missing all of last year, not playing football for a year, definitely hurt him. I think he's starting to gel with the line, and Dotson played another strong game, and I think the line protected Jameis pretty well. They did give up a sack or two, but a normal pass rush. Normal pass rush that's decent. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit, but I'm not gonna. Not going to go on my rant yet because that might get a little ugly. But
yeah, we'll talk about the defense here in a couple of minutes as we finish up these points in the live chat.
A normal pass rush is going to get a sack or 2 a game. It's just going to happen. When they send a blitz, you should get there. A normal defense, guess what, guys? A normal defense that sends a blitz, it can get to the quarterback. Can the Bucs? No, but doesn't matter. The Bucs could blitz 10 guys and leave Brent Grimes there all alone, and they still wouldn't get to the quarterback. It'd be a touchdown. So the line did all right. Line did very good run blocking wise. For Quiz, I felt that they did a solid job there. So overall, I think they're going to start getting better. But Ali Marpet just needs to improve on the snaps. As you said earlier, it was a sloppy day, not a good weather day, so that may have had something to do with it. But hey, he's got to learn how to do that. They're going to be playing in Lambeau in December. It might be snowing in that game. What are you going to do then?
Yeah, really going to have to adjust, and as you said, get better with those snaps, because a lot of those can lead to miscommunication on plays that can lead to turnovers, as we have seen before, and something that's got to be fixed. And, if he's going to be starting center for the majority of the season, when is Joe Hawley scheduled to come back? Is he out for the whole season, or are we talking late season?
Well, Joe Hawley's not the starter, but, Ali Marpet's the, official center now.
Okay.
But Hawley, I don't really know, because he's not on the injury report at all. I think it's just a matter of they want to still have spots for Sweezy and still have a spot for Pamphile and Evan Smith and those type of guys. They really like Evan Smith's versatility. He can play guard, he can play center. Pamphile can play tackle and guard, but Hawley can really only play center. But Allie's got to get better, and I think he will.
Hopefully.
Blocking wise. I think the guy's a Pro Bowler. Blocking wise, he just got to get them snaps down. And It's his. You got to come slack. It's his third game doing snaps. Third game. All right. Third. He didn't play center. Not even in high school. Didn't play center in high school. Didn't play center in college. Didn't play center in the NFL. Just switched to center now. It's third game. But honestly, yeah, it does have to improve definitely. So hopefully it does, and I think it will. I think the line's in good hands.
All right, and jumping back into the live chat as we pretty much wrap up the points we were talking about. Eclipse Productions, I assume you know who this is, Evan. They said, "Love you, Dad." I have a few guesses of who it is. You're shaking your head. Do you know? Do you know who it would be?
No.
No, I've seen a couple of people refer to Bucs football as Dad on the Instagram. NFC South rivals.
I don't think it's him, but maybe.
Maybe, I don't know if he's still here. Maybe he'll give a little more information. But flipping over to the defense, something we haven't touched on as much. We will touch on that now. Jumping off of the live chat, this final point here. Fade Ennis said VH3, I cannot trust to guard. We do have Brent Grimes, who is still elite, top 15 cornerbacks in my opinion. But we really need to plan for the future after Grimes and draft a pure number one corner who can cover and is 6 foot plus. Let me tell you the main problem with Vernon Hargreaves. He is very small. He's not a big guy. He was matched up with Odell Beckham a couple of times just on coverage whenever the Bucs would run coverage and Odell would switch sides from Brent. Vernon Hargreaves would be the corner to come down and try to make the play. And a good 75% of the time he would come down and try to make the tackle. Given Odell is one of the most agile guys in the league, he can shake anybody. But Vernon Hargreaves has really let go of a lot of tackles. And the tackles that he does have, it takes a lot out of him to try and bring down someone who's running over him, especially a 6'2", 6'3", 6'4 receiver. Because Vernon Hargreaves, I believe, is only 5'10", 5'11", barely 200 pounds. 5'10". And he is a very, very talented cornerback. He is an awesome defensive back. He's awesome in coverage. He has come up and made plays. But he's just small. I wouldn't say he's bad. He does have to get better in certain points because there are a lot of plays, or a couple of plays a game we'll see him get burned. We'll see him come up short making a play. He does have to get better in that instance. Excuse me. But he is solid. He's just a smaller guy. And kind of have to find a way to fit him into that defensive scheme to play around it. Now, Brent Grimes, I agree with you totally here, man. Top 15 cornerback for sure. He showed that against Odell a couple of times. Odell got shut down when going up against Brent Grimes. I believe, Evan, you had posted that stat. Let me see if I can pull it up here, unless you remember off the top of your head.
I remember it. Well, when Brent Grimes was covering Odell Beckham, Eli Manning targeted Beckham 7 times, and Odell had 2 catches for 10 yards. Yeah. Odell had nothing against Grimes. Grimes, you could tell they missed him in Minnesota. He's good. He's so good.
34 years old, man. Still one of the best corners in the league. He can keep up with a lot of these guys. We did, sorry to cut you off, but one play that I did really want to highlight, we saw, I believe, I want to say it was third quarter. I think it was the drive. I cannot remember what drive it is, to be honest with you, but it was it was a post route for Odell, and Odell had unrouted himself, cut in, and then cut up to see if he could beat whoever corner was covering him. Brent Grimes unlatched from coverage and came up to make the play. It was a sideline catch, and he jumped in there and almost had the pick. But a very, very athletic and versatile play for Brent Grimes, who he showed he can stick his nose into the play as fast as he needs to. Very, very good cornerback for being, like I said before, 34 years old, still one of the best in the league.
Yeah, and I remember the play you're talking about. Wasn't the third quarter. It was actually one of the first plays of the game.
Was it really?
I think it was the Giants' second drive. I remember because Chris Conti was late getting over, and Brent Grimes was able to make the play. It was right near the sideline, and Brent Grimes knocked the ball out. I remember that play. That was in the first quarter for sure. He's so good, and I mean his contract's up at the end of this year. if he's still interested in playing football, because there were some rumors of him this past offseason, he was thinking about retirement. So if he's still interested in playing football, I don't see why the Bucs don't give him a 1-year deal.
Yeah, with
I don't see
the
why not.
talent that he has at this point.
You give him a 1-year deal, draft a corner, second or third round. Okay. You got to hope that Vernon Hargreaves develops more. Brent Grimes can keep up the pace, and that corner that you drafted in the second, third round can be your nickel cornerback, and then he can develop into the replacement for Grimes when Grimes leaves. Just another year of development, and that also allows another year of development for a guy like Ryan Smith.
And I'm not totally against the idea either of drafting a capable cornerback, someone to add just a little bit more depth into that position, someone we can line up. If Brent Grimes is starting to slow down, maybe line him up against whoever's in the slot, or just bring him in when the Bucs play coverage, because I don't think he's going to deteriorate that much in a year's time. Like you said, if he's still interested in playing football as his contract is up, it would be sad to see him let go. I would like to see him finish his career in Tampa. He's proven he has enough tools and capability to put a damper on opposing offensive cores. But I'm not opposed to drafting a capable corner, maybe first round or even second round if you wanted to pick up another position first round that we wanted to take a look at. Yeah, definitely, for sure. But I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. Like we said, just have to condition a couple of guys a little bit more, get them used to being in different situations. Chris Conte Sunday didn't have as good of a game as he's shown that he's had the first few. He was late to a lot of plays, like you said, including that sideline pass to Odell, late to a couple of other plays, and had to finish up and wrap up the tackle that he could have made 10 steps ago. But Vernon Hargreaves kind of coming full circle. Tackling is the biggest issue there, and that could be the issue. Is still an ongoing issue with a lot of these guys. But I didn't mean to interrupt you. Where were you going with that? Had to get your Powerade. I should run downstairs and get a Gatorade, man.
I'm more of a Powerade guy anyway, to be honest with you. Well, I mean, Grimes is just like you said. He's shown no signs of slowing down. It's not like he's getting burned now. He's occasionally going to get beat because he's also a small corner. Brandon Marshall, who's 6'4", I remember one play he just boxed him out. It was simple. It was just like basketball. That it's going to happen. It is going to happen. I guarantee it. It's small corner against a 6'4", 6'5" receiver. It's going to happen. It's not nothing you can do about it. It's his genetics. It's not really his ability. I mean, he's right there. It's not like he's nowhere to be found. He's right there trying to make the play. He just can't. He's so small. And their other receivers so big. Like, he'd have a tough time with Mike Evans. Now, you said about the corner first round. Number one need has to be pass rush. And we can move into pass rush now, and then we can probably wrap up our final thoughts for the game. But
yeah, I got some good things to talk about with pass rush. We'll jump into that, as you were saying.
It's dead. There's nothing. I don't see how they're going to get sacks. I'll tell you right now. This is going to sound very bad. The Bucs, I believe, had 38 sacks last year. They're going to have a tough time getting to 15.
Yeah, it'll be
real tough in the 15 sacks.
Yeah. Tom Jones had said on Twitter at Tom W. Jones, he said opposing quarterbacks have had 127 dropbacks in 3 games against the Buccaneers. The Bucs have exactly 1 sack this season. They went sackless in Minnesota against Case Keenum and again on Sunday against Eli Manning. And the point that he made, and something that people have to look at, the Bucs are off to a pretty okay start. It's a little too early to tell what points need as much work throughout the season. Pass rush sticks out like a sore thumb, but without a pass rush, this team and the season will implode because that will catch up to us if we can't stop somebody on the pass rush.
The Bucs won't make the playoffs if they don't get a pass rush. It will not happen. I guarantee you. What happens when? What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen Thursday when Tom Brady comes to town and you can't touch him? It's not Tom Brady's Tom Brady. What's going to happen if you can't touch him?
Are we gonna get Madden cursed Tom Brady, or are we gonna get Super Bowl season Tom Brady?
You're gonna get a shootout. That's what you're gonna end up getting. This is gonna be a high scoring game. Especially if the Bucs can't get no pass rush. How do you beat Tom Brady? You hit Tom Brady. Why couldn't the Bucs have signed a guy like Julius Peppers? Julius Peppers is playing for the Panthers now. Has 4 sacks. I mean, come on. 4 sacks, 4 games. I'll take that. They signed him to a 1-year deal. It seems like the effort's not even there to get a true pass rush.
Yeah.
You signed Baker. Okay, he's a good defensive tackle. He's a run stuffer. He's not a pass rusher. You signed Robert Ayers. He's a good defensive end. He's a run stuffer. He's not a pass rusher. You re-sign Will Golston. Okay, cool. Elite run stuffer. Your only true pass rusher is Noah Spence and Jaquez Smith, but Jaquez Smith was basically playing, just to play on Sunday. He wasn't really that effective, but you can't blame him. It's been over a year since he's even touched a football field.
And something I did want to point out, you said all of these guys elite run stuffers. We're not just going to sit here and bash this defense. Something that we have seen come out, nobody has really come out and run all over this Bucs run defense. Pretty good, holding to little numbers against any of the run games that we've played so far. I believe Dalvin Cook was the one who rushed for the most yards, and he barely rushed for, I believe, about 80, less than 100.
About 80, about 82 or so, I think.
Yeah, he barely got to 80, less than 100, and pretty much, a good showing against the run on the Giants. Shane Vereen, I believe, did have a couple of breakout plays, couple of first downs that he picked up, but most of those were on the screen as Eli, once again, we talked about it pregame. He's going to look to get that ball out quickly, and he did exactly that. The pass rush wasn't there to get to him. He was pressured, kind of, but really a lot of situations where we could have seen a sack. There should have been a sack on the play that he ran in for his touchdown. Old Dusty Eli fell into the end zone because we couldn't get a sack, plain and simple, on that play. And, said it before, we'll say it again. That's going to be a big issue. But another issue on the defense that we have seen, no takeaways. There were no takeaways this game. What happened to them is really the question posed, and we got a quote here from Greg Allman, your boy Greg Allman, on Twitter, @Greg Allman, simple enough. Because the Bucs won, there are mere blemishes, but Tampa Bay's defense went without a sack or a takeaway for the second game in a row. They forced takeaways on their first 3 possessions of 2017. They have none in 30 possessions since. Eventually, the Bucs need both sides of the ball to play together at a high level. Really just scattered results from both sides of the ball here. But do you think it's because the defense starts to get run down after so long, starts to get tired? Because you can say Minnesota really wore out and just exhausted the Bucs defense, but the Giants really weren't giving them that hard of a time.
The Giants did have more time of possession than the Bucs did, but still, I don't even know, man. Turnovers come in bunches. They came in bunches against Chicago, not coming in bunches now. If the Bucs want to win on Thursday, they have to get at least 1 sack and they have to get at least 1 turnover. It's a must. They can't. They will. I guarantee you. I'll bet this house that I'm sitting right now. They will not win if they do not get a turnover or a sack. They will not win. It is simple, and Mike Smith knows that. He knows they need to get pressure. He's been sending blitzes. The blitzes aren't getting there. It sort of hurts when, it does hurt when your 2 linebackers that normally blitz, Quan Alexander and Levante David, who's actually an excellent blitzer. He is very good on the blitz. Sucks when he's out, but hey, you got to do with the guys you got. It's I don't know, man. They were close to a turnover early in the game. Eli threw a bullet right through the guy's hands and just didn't end up in the Bucs' hands. They need to. I'm putting my hand over my head because it sucks, and it's definitely eating away at the defense. I mean, you got to get one, whether it's a fumble, even though it should have been a fumble on the goal line for Dalvin Cook on the Vikings opening drive. That should have been a fumble. Should have been called. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But even then, okay, that was at the beginning of that game. So let's say then they wouldn't have a turnover. Then they would have a turnover this game. We don't stay in the same spot. So yeah, it's got to be better. If they expect to go 10-6, not even 9-7, and they don't pick off Tom Brady or Matt Ryan or Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, a lot of good quarterbacks that are going to come up facing. And if they can't pick them off, Carson Palmer is old. Yeah, but if he has all day and you can't force a turnover, what's going to happen?
Larry Fitzgerald is going to happen, as we saw in the game winner.
Larry Fitzgerald's going to beat you. He is. And the Bucs need to figure it out. Now, luckily, the upside for them playing on Thursday night, one, the fans get to watch their team sooner. Two, Bucs get a 10-day break after that. That 10-day break will likely mean the return for Quan Alexander and Levante David. Two huge pieces. And that's just for pressure-wise. I mean, and they got to get turnovers. I think turnovers are even more important than sacks this game. Because if you can come away with 2 turnovers and Winston can protect the ball and not have any turnovers and Folk can make all his kicks, I think the offense can put up enough points. But it's going to be very hard to stop the Patriots.
And you had brought up Quan Alexander and Levante David talking about that 13-day break after the Patriots. Pretty much our excuse of a bye week this year. But something that was brought up in the chat by Bucks Guy, he had asked, do you think Levante and or I'm going to say no to Levante, but do you think Levante and or Quan will be back and playing this Thursday, or will they be ready to play when we come back from that break?
I would probably say no to both. Even though you were saying no to Levante straight up, I think there's more of a chance that Levante plays than Quan. I think there's a reason that Quan Alexander on the injury report on Friday was listed as completely out, while Levante David was only listed as doubtful. He was not ruled out until right before the game. It is not that serious. His injury is not as serious as some fans still think it is, despite what they see, the quotes from Dirk Cutter, all the media saying it, the doctors saying it. They just, I don't know whether they don't see it or they ignore it. Everybody's saying, oh, my God, he's out 6-7 weeks. No, he'll probably be out for this game, and then he'll be back for Arizona. So will Quan likely. It'd be huge to have him back. But, I figure we could close the show talking about a man. We want to talk about returns. And I think you know where I'm going with this. Talking about guys returning. And what better way to get a guy returning that's fresh against the worst defense in the NFL than Doug Martin returning to the Bucs.
Yeah, Doug Martin.
Here. It's Doug's time. When Jameis Winston was talked about in the press conference, Jameis Winston put a huge smile on his face and said, yeah, we can't wait to have him here. He's so happy to get Doug back. And this team, Jacquizz Rodgers did run good, but this team's ready for Doug Martin to be back.
And really looking to get somebody who can make fast decisions in the backfield. As we've seen, Jacquizz Rodgers, he's a very headstrong runner. He'll fight and he'll get you the yards, but as we've seen from him, his top performance this season, only a 113, I believe, against Chicago, 111 or 113, barely 100 yards against the Chicago Bears. One of the farther down on the list, one of the worst defenses in the NFL. We will see what Doug does against the number 32 defense in the NFL on Thursday. Very excited to have Doug Martin back. And talking about before, someone who has very good field presence in the backfield. He can make quick decisions. He can end up where he needs to be. He's very good on his feet. Charles Sims tries to do that. But he takes a very, very long time, as we have seen. Charles Sims, one of the guys who kind of dances around in the backfield. He's more of a third down guy, as much as we don't like to admit it. What were you saying? I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Twinkle toes.
Twinkle toes. Charles Sims, I tell you what, someone who I missed. I brought this up before. I miss Bobby Rainey. I liked Bobby Rainey better than Charles Sims. Bobby Rainey was a solid second, third string. He was that guy. He'll get you the play when he needs to get it, and then he'll go sit on the bench for the rest of the game. I miss Bobby Rainey. I believe he went up to New York, and then he got cut, didn't he?
He went to New York. He went to the Giants, got cut, got signed back with the Ravens, then got cut. So right now he's a free agent.
And speaking of cuts, Alan Cross got cut today off of the team, our fullback, for a good number of years. I mean, he wasn't a franchise player. He wasn't there forever, but someone who stuck around for a very long time and someone not a lot of people knew about. Alan Cross is off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as of today. Now, do you think they're going to look to move Charles Sims or Jaquiz Rogers into that second running back, fullback position, or do you think they have their eyes on somebody?
No, because both of them guys won't be able to play fullback. Alan Cross, actually, I don't know. You might be thinking of somebody else. Alan Cross actually wasn't on a team for very long. It was a year. I remember he scored the game winner in Kansas City. That game-winning touchdown there at the end. But Charles,
I guess I must have been. I could have sworn he's been on the team for a while.
Nah, not too long. It feels like a while, but yeah.
Maybe he's like a Jason Witten. He feels like he's been on the team for 30 years, but he's only been there for Jason Witten's only played for, I think, barely double digits.
12, like 11 or so, yeah.
10 years, good God.
Charles Sims or Jaquiz Rogers won't do that because they can't do that. They can't play a fullback role. Probably Luke Stocker will probably end up doing that mostly. But even then, they don't really have a true fullback. So we'll see. But, I mean, they needed to make room for Doug Martin because he didn't count against the 53-man roster. So this is the move that they had to make. Hopefully they can find a spot for Cross on the practice squad, though. I'd like to keep him around.
Yeah, he's not too bad at all. But we pretty much covered everything we did want to cover here on the Cannon Fire Podcast post-game discussion for Week 4. We will catch you guys with a brand new episode. We're going to try and record it Wednesday night. You want to do Wednesday night or you want to do tomorrow night just because the game's on Thursday? Because I got no problem. I got no disputes over doing tomorrow night.
Yeah, I might as well do tomorrow night.
Might as well do tomorrow night. Sounds good, guys. A new episode of the Cannon Fire Podcast will be up on YouTube and iTunes, hopefully on Wednesday, so you guys can listen to it on whatever you listen to it on YouTube or iTunes. Also, just wanted to say a quick thank you guys so much. We did hit 70 subscribers on YouTube. We are very close to 75. Last I checked, we were at 73. We did get one throughout this broadcast. So thank you guys very, very much for the support. Make sure you go subscribe on iTunes as well. Sorry, I blanked out. And let's check the live chat one more time. Is Quan going to be back Thursday and Levante David? We already talked about that. Fade Ennis said, do you remember Mike James? I actually knew him personally. I can't say that I remember Mike James off the top of my head. What about you, Evan?
Yep, I remember him. Number 25.
When was this?
2013. Had a big game against Seattle. Ran all over him. Bucks ended up losing that game, but yeah, he had over 100 yards that game. He had like 120 yards rushing that game against the strong Seattle defense. He's a good player. I think he's on Detroit's practice squad now, I believe.
Yeah, man. And talking about some players not everybody remembers, one of my favorite players, one of my favorite guys to watch for a couple of years, Mike Williams, number 19, the receiver. Yep. He was our star receiver for just a little bit. Do you remember Mike Williams, man?
Oh, yeah.
Was the go-to guy. The connection him and Josh Freeman had in their prime, both of those guys were awesome. Do you know if Williams is still in the league at all?
Hey, league no more. He's I don't know. He was more concerned. His problem was he was more concerned about making rap videos and playing football.
Yeah.
He got traded to the Bills from the Bucs when Jason Light came in. That was one of the first movies he made. And then after that, he went to the Bills, played a year there, got cut, and now is a free agent.
Yeah, man. I was watching, and this is the last thing we'll talk about, and then we'll wrap things up here, guys. But I was watching some games on YouTube. Actually, there's a channel called Mike P. It's a person.
That's where I get him on.
Yeah, Mike P is the guy. He'll upload all of these games. He's uploaded, I believe, some games as far back as 1990, even a little bit earlier on some other channels. But he is your go-to guy for the Super Bowl era uniform. Some of the best games. I was watching one of my favorite Bucs games of all time because it was one of the first I vividly remember watching as a child. Well, no, I wouldn't say it's that one. But one of the first ones that I did watch, it was with my uncle. It was on a DVD. He had the whole game. It was the 1999 division playoff with the NFC Central rival, the Minnesota Vikings in Raymond James. And first drive of the game, they were talking about, what was the quarterback's name for Minnesota? I think it was James George. He really wasn't that good.
Eddie George, maybe?
I don't know if it was Eddie George. I know it was something George. Maybe George James, something around there. But I remember the cornerback. I can never remember his name either. I feel really bad. But he came down, made a huge play, and it was a pick six on the first possession, and that stadium exploded. I remember watching. People were crammed on the sidelines and crammed in the stands. But Mike P on YouTube, definitely check it out. Not too much going on in the live chat, guys. So as we said, we've pretty much wrapped up everything we wanted to say here on the Buccaneers postgame show for Week 4. Looking strong, heading into a Thursday night Color Rush game against the Patriots. Let's see if the Color Rush uniforms can work their magic and give us a goddamn win for the first time we've worn them. Super Bowl champs Thursday night in Raymond James. Should be a good one. Doug Martin back in action, and hopefully a couple more guys coming off of that injured list. Levante David and Quan Alexander, we said maybe next Sunday. Got to keep those guys as healthy as they can. They're probably, I'd say Quan may be ready to play, if not both of them, but really not looking to throw them to the Wolves this quickly. Got to make sure they're 100%. Kendall Beckwith has had quite the day. But let's wrap things up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't already, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel here and on iTunes. A new episode will be coming out on Wednesday. Remember, guys, Atlanta led by 25, and Go Bucs. Have a good rest of your Monday, and we'll see you in just a few days.